the question I have for you, first of all, is coming out of it. There's a review, the Taoiseach mentioned the second week in January, the 12th of January. Is it realistic that anyone could expect that there'd be any relief at that point?
We're going to review the situation on the 12th of January, and there's always hope, and we've seen how this virus can turn rapidly, and has turned rapidly in the last week in the wrong way, and we've seen in some other countries like Finland, for example, Greece, where the numbers have fallen, but I think it's unlikely, to be honest. The restrictions that we're introducing are being phased in between now and New Year's. You would expect to see the effects not until the trees come down around the 7th or 8th of January. Would we be down low enough at that level to be confident about easing restrictions? Probably not. I think probably where we are now for the first part of next year is with these restrictions in place, but trying to get a sufficient number of people vaccinated so that it changes the calculus, because by vaccinating people in nursing homes, healthcare workers, that'll change the case fatality rate. It'll change a lot of the way we look at this disease. And
the first part of next year, what does that mean in your head?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball, and anybody who tells you they can predict what's going to happen with this virus probably turns out to be wrong. Had we had a cabinet meeting on Friday or Saturday, we would have accepted the NPHET advice to close hospitality on the 28th of December. By yesterday, things had changed and the advice had changed, so nobody can know for sure. But I think what we want to avoid is constant on-off lockdowns. We really thought this time we would get to the middle of January in line with projections before we had to tighten restrictions.
The fact that we haven't, is there a belief, we don't have proof yet, is there a belief that the real recent uptick in the last couple of days, as you said, that NPHET advice changing so drastically in the space of 72 hours.
And they're correct to change it. That's not a criticism.
That the new strain is here, this strain from the London strain, as some people are calling it.
Yeah, well, this is a strain that's managed to make itself around to the Netherlands, Denmark, the UK and Australia.
It'd be remarkable if it's not here.
I think it is, yeah. We don't have laboratory confirmation of that, but we are operating on the basis that it is here. Anything that was in England in September is very likely to be in Ireland now. And perhaps that explains the exponential growth that we've seen in the last 5 or 6 days. We've had periods before where restrictions were eased, people started socialising. We haven't ever seen what we now call a sort of a 9-day doubling rate. Haven't seen that before. And it is extremely worrying, and that's why we're acting.